come. We don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak.
I cannot believe this shit, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? We are here today. Oh, my God. We got so many. Hold on. Let's make sure everything is correct, Amundo, in here. That's good enough, right? Hold on. Let's get a little higher for y'all. There we go. There we go. Get the nice background involved. But I can't believe what we are seeing here today, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't believe it. You know, I put my damn $20 on Denny Hamlin due to Mr. Super Chat last night, and I paid attention. I did pay attention to the NASCAR race due to this $20 on Denny Hamlin. And my, oh my, would I have even known what y'all and Denny Hamlin and Toyota were going to do today? Sean, did you see what they did out there today?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Did you see what they did?
A lot of shit going on.
I can't believe that y'all have allowed this to happen. First of all, we kind of can and cannot show the videos, so we're not going to do it. But we're going to try to explain what the hell happened. You know, I was watching this NASCAR race that I talk about all the time. I talk about the manipulation of how the sport of NASCAR is manipulated onto all of us. And then how they play it. I talk about how money runs everything, decision-makings, who's good, who's not. It's all based on money, and who runs actual organizations based on support. And honestly, the things we saw happen today in NASCAR is an example for all of you casual viewers, you watchers out there. You got to learn real quick who actually runs their sport. Who actually makes it go around the racetrack. It ain't them. It is how many times have I said OEM manufacturers, Sean, when I talk about this stuff? I mean,
it's a big deal.
It's everything. They're like the military-industrial complex to the situation. You know, they're the ones that build the bombs that go around the racetrack. So this is a situation where earlier in the race, William Byron wasn't he about to go a lap down, Sean? I believe we can show some stills. Hold on. We can show some stills. Let me see. Not that one. Nope, not that one. Sorry. This one right here. This one right here. I was going to give a big shout out to Front Stretch. Go check them out on their Facebook page. It's a really good, or a YouTube channel, Front Stretch here. They got a good interview with Kyle Larson, everybody. I wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. But this is the more so in particular situation where there was a situation earlier in the race where William Byron and Chase Elliott were up here, and there was an issue with the car, and this guy needed that, and that guy needed this. And all of a sudden, Carson Hocevar gets spun out by Alex Bowman. And I was like, okay, so they're already pulling some bullshit on the racetrack. But see, I don't want to get in trouble and show it. But anyway, you had that happen. And then late in the race, William Byron was falling throughout the field. Christopher Bell screwed over. He's a lap down. And you had a situation where the battle for the lead, which Ryan Blaney drove his way to the front, took the chance for Elliott and Larson, who was battling up front for the lead, took the chance away from Chevy having a representative if William Byron did not hang on to that position. And in that situation, you also would have had Christopher Bell have to make up one more spot to get into the championship playoffs at the same time. So it was a scenario where basically, Sean, did it not look like Austin Dillon was just tracking down on William Byron there late in the race, and all he had was one spot to give up, and he was coming, right?
Oh, definitely.
He was coming. William Byron was on the move. And then William Byron couldn't make, or Austin Dillon was on the move. Austin Dillon couldn't make the pass for some reason. And then all of a sudden, here comes Ross Chastain. He's coming. He's coming, and he can make the outside roll. And he rolls to the outside of Austin Dillon. Oh, he's moving. and he peeks a nose to the outside of Byron, and then into 1 and 2, it's like all of this momentum that they had just went away. What?
Yeah.
And I said to Sean, I said, a lot of people were stunned or confused at that point. I was like, damn, is he not getting a run there? It went by 2 or 3 laps. I started looking. I was like, I believe I said this, Sean. Correct me if I'm wrong. I said, this looks like a show. I said, well, I didn't say that at first. I believe I was like, man, this is amazing racing. Look at them. They're side by side. It was like 2 deep. This is amazing racing. Wow, they're actually racing well here, and this car sucks on short tracks. And then it just stayed that way. And I was like, wait. Chevy. If William Byron falls out, there won't be a Chevy representation in this event. Right. And there's 2 Chevys right there blocking for him. And so I was more so stunned at that BS as we're getting the final checkered flag. And then I looked to the other box. They had a 3-box screen going on. And Chris Bell's riding the fucking wall. And I'm like, what the hell? Was he just mad about losing or something? And that whole situation there with Bell and Bubba Wallace, I didn't really see. And so they go to the replays of the scenario and show how Bubba Wallace was just off the pace somehow. They say with the flat tire. Off the pace with the flat tire. Of course, Bubba Wallace, 2311. As an organization, Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs, 2311, and Joe Gibbs, obviously, partial owner Denny Hamlin is a Joe Gibbs driver, and they already have a 2311 car in with Tyler Reddick, so nothing to really lose there. But getting Joe Gibbs in, I mean, is there some cross parallels there in that scenario? Right, Sean, that would make a little sense that they would try to pull something off like that with a flat tire, in quotations?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, it was more than obvious what was going on.
Well, it was more obvious what was going on with the 1 and the 3 car. That was, oh, my God, obvious, in my opinion. It was, like, so obvious that the 1 and the 3 car were pulling some shenanigans there, literally blocking from the rest of the field. Brad Keselowski was the only non-Chevy, I believe, within striking distance, and they held the ground and made sure he couldn't get around. And they never challenged William Byron, who had fell back to them by what? He had like 2 seconds on him. Yeah. You know, so the Bubba Wallace thing, do I believe that Bubba Wallace, obviously the car looked squiggly going around the track and all that. Do I believe that happened and he fell off the pace? And then as far as the wall ride is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, as far as that wall ride is concerned that happened, Bell throwing the slider, hitting the wall riding it, for the record, I don't agree. You feel differently about this, Sean, but I don't agree because I look at that as, and maybe this is how it needs to go forward, because it's like wall riding. Okay, so then what are you going to do about Darlington or Homestead or any of these tracks where, you get your Darlington scrape, and the way you get off the wall in those scenarios is you stay in the gas and whip the wheel. And it looked like that's what Bell did, but obviously he stayed in it and rolled around the top. So I think that going forward, and the reason I think Chris Bell was judged unfairly in that scenario is you got to treat this wall ride thing kind of like the yellow line at Daytona. You know, the yellow line at Daytona, if you go below it and advance your position, that's a no-no, right, Sean? But you can go below the line and come back onto the track just as long as you do not advance your position, right?
Right. So
Christopher Bell didn't advance a position. I don't even think he had a threat of losing a position. Bubba Wallace was out of the fray. The pass was made prior to him getting into the wall. So I don't understand that at all. But overall, the scenario here, what I am saying is you got here in NASCAR a visual evidence of who actually runs things, the powerhouse teams, which most people would consider Gibbs for Toyota, Penske for Ford, Hendrick for Chevy, kind of having play on kind of having an Armstrong. Penske's innocent here. They just had a badass driver go through the field and win the race. Although I'm not a big Ryan Blaney fan. Regardless, you kind of saw the powerhouse teams of Hendrick and Gibbs kind of in a nonchalant, not even having to tell people what to do. They just kind of already knew. It was like a game plan. You know, it's like scheming throughout the week or something. They already know, okay, so in this scenario, that scenario, you have to help these few guys to make things happen. Now, it used to be more of a stronghold by these bigger teams because they were in charge of developing the products and the engineering and the performance parts that if you wanted to run well, you had to buy through them. So that used to be a little bit of a bigger scheme. It probably happens more so or less than a pre-next-gen vehicle. It probably still happens in some aspects today, but still there's this lineage, there's this power structure, there's these politics, there's these P. Diddy parties, all kinds of things that is controlling this racing situation. But I have a problem, Sean, where we all are seeing blatant manipulation. Everyone can see it. And even if you want to say Bubba Wallace's manipulation is a question mark, but you're going to DQ, or you should have, on the results, they don't even have Chris Bell dead last, but apparently it was enough of an infraction to lose the championship, or a championship hope. I think you should take all of these cars involved in this scenario, which is Bell for his wall infraction, the 23, the 1, the 3, and the 20, and I think you should DQ all of these son of a bitches, and that would put Kyle Larson into the Final Four because he didn't do nothing wrong this year, but win a lot of damn races and kick everybody's ass. Y'all are the ones out there that need manipulation and this, that, and the other to find your way up into the front of a damn field. Kyle Larson just has to grab a damn steering wheel and get in the damn cockpit, and that's all he needs to do to be successful on the racetrack while y'all are pulling shit off like this. Responses, Sean.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a shame that manufacturers have to have strong words in how everything plays out. I mean, damn well all these teams or all these manufacturers, they talk amongst themselves, and I mean, there's a lot of shit behind the scenes that we probably don't even know what is being said during the week or during team meetings and whatnot.
It's very interesting. You got some people here. I didn't lose $160 on betting on him, and I lost 20. But anyways, we got some people here that are saying the wall ride got banned because of safety reasons. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Agreed. DQ all of them. That is right. That is right. And I think we're gonna switch up. We're gonna get our NASCAR insider in here. That's what we're doing, Sean. We're getting our NASCAR international NASCAR insider on the show for his opinion. He's blowing me up. Chaz, call me. Chaz, call me. Sounds like it's Broke Joe on steroids. We're going to get some other opinions on this. We're going to open up the lines. This is the biggest destruction of NASCAR and their entire infrastructure, which has happened for a long time. Clark, our NASCAR insider, Clark, are you there?
What's up, Chaz?
What in the fuck did we just see? I don't know if you listened to my opening segment here on the show, but it is under my belief that all of these questionable people who were manipulating this race, even to the point of Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace. So Chris Bell, Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Ross Chastain, and Austin Dillon should all be disqualified from this event, and Kyle Larson should then gain the points that would put him into the Final Four next week, and I think that's what should happen. Continue.
10,000% correct. This is Richmond all over again.
It's worse than Richmond. It's worse than Richmond. And which Richmond are you talking about? Are you talking about Michael Waltrip Racing Richmond, or are we talking Austin Dillon? We already got Austin Dillon, who's an experienced cheater in the chase spot department. I think that's why they went to him. And you also have Ross Chastain, who is a convicted chase spot cheater who did the wall ride to get into the chase.
Ding, ding, ding.
We have two convicted cheaters. It sounds like this is political. We have two convicted NASCAR chase spot manipulated people involved here. Two of them.
How do we get out of the sport, Chaz? How do you get rid of it?
You can't get rid of it. There's not enough P. Diddy parties to be had to get rid of it.
Oh. Dude.
No
this
comment?
is,
You have no comment? Are you...
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
No, I'm talking about somebody just said autism, Dylan. What is your comments on the scenario? What do you think is going on? What do you think? I don't want to know what do we do about it? We can't do shit about it. We're sitting here on YouTube. We can advocate and try to get Kyle his spot that is deserved, the winningest driver on the tour.
This is, if they don't fix this, then the credibility for NASCAR once again just goes down the drain.
Yeah.
And it just adds fuel to the lawsuit.
Yeah, and that's another element in this is that it is a lawsuit team that was involved in this scenario.
100%. But Bubba Wallace is doing what he's told by Toyota.
They're all doing it.
Exactly. Chevrolet, Ford, all of them.
Right. Yeah, I called it while I saw it happening. And when I saw Chastain just and them reel him in and then not even challenge, it was like, wow, they're blocking for him.
Yep.
They're fucking blocking for him.
Yep. It's unbelievable.
I don't see a Brian Brown in the chats. Hold on, we got a chat. Oh wait, okay, hold on. I think I see the chat. I'm always a Bell guy, and I don't see how you can say DQ Byron. He didn't do anything. The manipulation of the event and how things played out is why Byron is to help. And it's not even just Byron. Getting into the chase isn't necessarily a driver accomplishment. This is a team manufacturer accomplishment, correct, Clark?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So then the teams and the manufacturers working together, William Byron's just a casualty, to this war that's happening.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, and then there was also audio between the teams about a deal.
If you listen
did you see that audio after the race? Did you see where they were like, does he know about the deal?
These people are so stupid.
I mean, I don't know how you could say this. I don't know how you could say this any other way. We going to do someone for being slow? Larson drives a Chevy. Also, it has nothing to do with Larson driving a Chevy. It has to do with the affected drivers when you try to pull some of this shit off. Who is affected and who actually benefited from this bullshit? Who benefited from Ross Chastain and Austin Dillon blocking? William Byron, the driver. Hendrick Motorsports, the team. And ultimately, the motivation is Chevy performance. Correct?
Well, yeah, because think about it. If Ross goes up there and passes, okay, guess what? You just let Christopher Bell in. And you tell me if Trackhouse is going to be a Tier 1 Chevy team next year. Not a fucking chance.
This is a very good point that this flannel guy made here. I may have to get me a flannel shirt. He said, how could anyone take online betting DraftKings for NASCAR seriously if there is fixes going on? If you had Brad K in the top 5, you lost cash.
I was just about to say that.
Wow. Well, and this is why I've always said that they manipulate races in general for gambling purposes. We see how Dale Earnhardt, I've always said this, and I guess Dale Jr. is very sensitive and his whole entire clique is, but I remember being a young man and watching the Daytona Summer Race in 2001, and I remember them talking about how Dale Jr. was half throttle pulling away from the field at Daytona. This super special baseball car that he destroyed the field with after his dad passed away. Horrible, great scenario in a way. But I've used that to say, guys, if you know about all this stuff, imagine having money on somebody else or money on him. Or when Jeremy Mayfield was on here in our talk show and I brought up, or he was talking about how NASCAR can do this and do that if they don't like you to help you finish better or finish worse on the track. And I brought up, so how does that work with the gambling industry? If you can manipulate things that direction. And our feed cut. Our feed lost connection when that subject came up. So this is very interesting, actually, the gambling aspect of these degrees of manipulation. And should this constitute NASCAR being removed from their platforms? Or is it just making too much money and the show goes on? I know we see a lot of bullshit calls in the NFL and other games, so I guess this is status quo, huh?
It's going to be status quo, Chaz.
Someone just made a very good point. They said it's Trump's fault. This is potentially true, actually. The aggression of the upcoming elections caused these people to fall in line and do what they are told to do. And I think that's the Trump mantra, and maybe that's what happened here.
Oh, you're going to love that. Great comment.
Bent Rim Podcast said, so will this result in another change in chase or playoff formats? No. This needs to result. Because this stuff, what we saw today, is the greatest example of how NASCAR's league is going to be destroyed. If they don't fix this right now, this week, it's over. No traditionalists are going to stay around and watch this shit no more. No new fans just got a fucking front page slice of how it operates. I mean, no one wants to watch something that is led to be fair and equal and the best can get it done, and you get this, you know. No comment, Clark.
How is it no different than a restrictor plate race? How is what we saw any different than a restrictor plate race?
That's a good comparison.
Where the manufacturers dictate, you cannot allow another manufacturer. You cannot push another manufacturer to the win. You cannot push it. If you're a Chevy, you cannot push a Toyota. If you're a Ford, you cannot push a Chevrolet.
So are you saying we're perceiving we should basically, us who are mad that we watched Ross Chastain and Austin Dildo block for 10 laps William Byron, we should just shut the fuck up because basically we're just reacting because it happened on a short track. And at Daytona and Talladega, this is status quo, how it happens all the time, and we never bitch about it. We just consider that racing.
Exactly.
So we're all wrong with this. We're all wrong. I'm wrong.
No, we're not wrong. What I'm saying is, with what we see on the restrictor plate races, we seem to be okay with that. But because of seeing it being manipulated on a short track race and being really, really bad.
Right.
Like, come on. You can't get any fucking worse than that.
Yeah,
like, you can just hear these morons on the fucking radio, and it's like, come on, guys. No fucking codes?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, and so that is a good point. I mean, you're checking me in my place, Trudeau. I don't really know how to ingest this at this point. Did you just say fuck your leader? Wow. Okay, Kamala. Anyway.
No,
whatever. But anyway, make sure you wear a mask before you go outside. Outside of that, it is a very interesting point you make. You know, because I'm sitting here seeing what I saw, and I think everyone involved should be DQ'd. I don't think you should be able to manipulate a championship chase like that. But if it was Daytona, it would be fine. The point being made there is true. Even if it was colluded, we hear people on the radio colluding all the time to block and to draft and to do all this stuff. So even if it has all this radio evidence of, yeah, we're going to block for you and all this stuff. So if that's the case, and if that's the direction, then why even keep it hush-hush? Why not just go to Bubba Wallace and say, okay, Bubba's falling off the pace and he's going to give you the spot? Is that different than blocking? Because I consider those the same.
No, the same. You're right. But this was the worst evidence of it happening. The worst. If this was Talladega right now, the second last race before the championship round, everybody would be equally as pissed because they're like, why would you not allow him to freaking push? Why? Why would you not allow a Toyota driver to push a Ford past?
So Clark, how deep does this go in the asphalt world? You obviously know. maybe too much.
This is right back to the manufacturer.
Okay.
This goes back to the heads of the manufacturers, because the manufacturers are the ones that pay these tier 1 teams all of this money.
And the tier 1 teams have to perform, or they feel threatened to lose that to another organization.
100%.
Right.
If Bubba Wallace didn't do that, do you think that his wife gets a Toyota or a Lexus delivered to her house tomorrow?
You're talking about real manipulation now.
100%.
Not just
If
like
Kyle-
finishing positions
if-
on the
if
track,
Kyle-
but you're talking about lifestyle. All of a sudden, when you're
yeah.
driving home and you randomly get pulled over, is the officer finding drugs under your seat that weren't there, that you didn't put there, but somebody did? This is the Jeremy Mayfield argument, you know.
Oh, this is worse, because these guys, guess what? Guess what? Ross Chastain's going to get next week.
What?
He's gonna get a brand new dually and a nice to pull his nice friggin' trailer so he can go late model racing in the Cars Tour next year.
Do you know this for a fact, or are you just guesstimating?
He was on the Dale Jr. download last week, and Dale Jr. just said, "Why don't you ask Chevrolet to give you a dually? You're a tier 1 guy. They'll give you a dually."
And he found a way.
He's definitely gonna get a fucking dually now.
Wow.
Just like Austin's gonna get to freaking keep his ride next year.
Wow. Is this even worth covering? Is this even worth talking about anymore? I mean,
yeah, of course it is.
You justified it to the
ridiculous.
point. You justified it to the point that I don't feel Larson should get the spot.
What?
Because if it was Daytona, this is status quo. This is how it goes. The collusion to block or to dictate finishes or whatever or work together with another person for manipulating the finishing order, that happens on draft tracks all the time. So it makes sense.
Right. But the problem is,
What is
NASCAR
punishable
has
in that?
enabled-
If it's okay at Talladega, why is it not okay at Martinsville?
Because NASCAR has enabled this behavior.
Yeah, but the draft stuff you can't ever change.
Yes, you can.
How? How would you change the
Jim
draft-ando,
France-
drafting,
Jim
and all
France-
this stuff? How would you even
Jim
touch
France, Jim France, and all of these NASCAR people could clearly say to the teams and to the manufacturers that if we see that you guys are dictating that one of your manufactured cars can't push a different manufacturer to the win over your manufacturer, like, it's got to stop. It's ridiculous.
Well,
It's
then
not
how
fair
can you
for us to-
dictate who they push? I mean, it's
because Kyle Larson would be more than happy to push Ryan Blaney than Byron.
Flannel Guy says, in my opinion, damage is done. NASCAR is now clearly known as a manipulated sport like wrestling. They're not going to shake that label. Me personally, I still think that, you know, the right calls, how I let off here, looking at it how you are looking at it, has maybe potentially changed my strength and advocacy for it, but I still see it as bullshit. I don't think that two guys should be able to block the field so one guy can get in the chase. You know, I mean, the wall ride to me, I don't know about your opinion on that, but I made the statement that this wall ride scenario should almost be like the yellow line at a draft track. If you go below it and pass somebody, then it's illegal. If you go below it and come back on the track and blend right back in, it's not illegal to go below the line. Because it's going to be hard to dictate riding the wall, because they ride the wall all the time at Darlington. They ride the wall at Homestead from time to time. You know, so you can't really dictate that. But you could say if you are riding the wall and advance a position, then it's illegal. But now they're spurring it as a safety concern issue. So it's not about performance. Although I thought going below the yellow line trying to pass was initially instituted because people were going below the line and causing big, giant wrecks, which would also fall in the safety element. So what do you think about that? I don't think Chris Bell should have been DQ'd. He didn't pass the car in the maneuver. And he wasn't even technically DQ'd. When you look at the results, it looks like they only took a lap away from him or something. I don't know what they did with these results here.
Here's the big thing. The amount of conflict of interest NASCAR has is insane.
Oh God, yes. Oh God.
So you have a Japanese manufacturer, Toyota, beating a Chevrolet, right?
Right.
Which manufacturer is Jim France the closest with?
Right. Chevrolet.
In IMSA, which Jim France also owns, what manufacturer does his Action Express race team run?
You're going to have to answer that for me. I'm not a road course guy, but...
Well, it's not Toyota, I can tell you that.
What is it, the Ford Chevy manufacturers or just Chevy?
It's a GM product.
A GM product.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, in the results, they only backed off Christopher Bell to 22nd. It looks like they just penalized him a lap. It looks like. They put him at the back of the field. They just put him to the back of the field. So he's technically scored 22nd. Doesn't make much sense to me how they even pulled that off. You know, I would think this is closer to like scales or something. You go the back, but it looks like they just put him at the back of the people on lap 499, which put him in 22nd. So basically, what you're describing, Clark, is why Michael Jordan is suing these pieces of shit. That's what you're talking about, technically.
And it's why he's going to win. He's going to win in the public opinion court too.
Right. Yeah, he was already a lap down 667, but he passed Bubba Wallace, who was the first car on the lap down list to finish 18th. They scored him 22nd, which would be last on the cars that was a lap down. So that's what I'm talking about. Regardless, yeah, this lawsuit is going through, and what's the developments there? I haven't paid attention to NASCAR much. I'm not Kenny Wallace. Like what happened since they filed it? I think I paid attention when they were asking for a appeal or a waiver, or what was that all about? I know you know.
So they wanted to get an injunction, basically to basically see all of the financial records of NASCAR, Jim France. But they denied that. So
okay,
it doesn't hurt their case. I can tell you that, because they have one hell of a case. But if they were able to see all of the finances of NASCAR, holy shit, it would just be a shitstorm.
And the court case starts tomorrow, they're saying here in the comments. Wasn't there something around a charter grant or waiver or something like that next year? Benefits still, or that was denied or something as well. What was that?
No, that has not played out yet. That's gonna take a while, man.
So then what's gonna happen with this whole deal? I mean, court cases to this degree, I would assume, are gonna take 2 to 3 years to settle.
We're probably not going to know more until sometime into the new year on really what's going to happen.
But it's not like cases and this stuff happen and get settled that quick.
Oh, it's not going to get settled that quick. Shit, this is going to take years, Chaz.
And then what's going to happen? Do you think that NASCAR's hope is that they just push it so much or come to some kind of side agreement to where they just settle and it goes away to where they can hold their problem and their power?
They're going to try and push Michael Jordan to the sport. These guys people don't realize the France family is worth potentially hundreds of billions of dollars.
Right. It's just a private business, so we don't get the numbers, right?
We don't know the numbers. The amount of real estate they own in the state, like all over the country, in the state of Florida alone. Like, look, they're building millions of square feet of buildings on half of the track of California Speedway on the ground. If you've ever been there, the compound it's massive.
Well,
they could put like freaking 15 of those million square foot buildings up.
Well, and I also think that the problems and issues that Michael Jordan is raising is also why I've always, it's kind of, when NASCAR wants to call it a sport, it's not. It's a private business. And it has certain things and operational ways that they control, you know, and how they want to do it, where they want to schedule this, that, and the other. And then this is also all these things I know about that most people don't know about, because that's where I state my case on how dirt racers and all these other drivers are just as talented, if not better, than their NASCAR rosters, because of all these factors that add up to being allowed in their business, literally. Back to what you're saying, these schemes and these oddball in agreements where, you know, people will get a new dually next week for doing this or doing that. It ain't about how good you are, what your performance is. It's about your obligement to their desires and wants and needs.
All of these guys all work out together. All the Chevy guys all hang out together. All the Toyota guys hang out together. Not all the Toyota guys, but those Tier 1 guys hang out together. The Tier 2 guys hang out together. You know.
And then you have Larson and Hamlin, who are a gay
advance.
relationship. I'm just joking, but.
You know what? It's pretty sad that Larson is going to be the one that gets screwed on this whole deal. Like, damn.
He is the one who's going to get screwed.
You know what? You know what I want to see out of this whole thing? I want to see Tyler Reddick win the fucking championship. That's the biggest fuck you to NASCAR.
You think so? Why? And
Karma.
why? But see, I just don't know about this Tyler Reddick. An average dirt racer winning the biggest championship out there is just so disrespectful. But you are talking about more so in the situation of Michael Jordan versus NASCAR and all this stuff. That's the big FU.
It's going to be the greatest fucking thing playing out,
Really?
and I can't wait for it.
Okay.
But the problem is you have two Penske cars in at Phoenix. That's going to be tough.
Somebody just said, no, it's not. Reddick is the one they put there. So this guy believes it's all controlled. And I do too, to a fault. I do too, to a fault. It is their show. It is a show.
What? All of a sudden he had the fucking balls to drive around Blaney around the outside going into 3 and 4. Come on.
Why would Blaney open up the top like that? I thought that was a real bad.
Because his spotter's a fucking idiot. No, because the lap before when he passed Denny Hamlin, he passed him on the bottom. So what he was doing is he was protecting from the sliders, what he was trying to do.
Somebody just asked a good question. Chaz, why are you dressed like a safari guide? Well, we're fucking going through the jungle of bullshit over here in NASCAR right now. But anyway, yeah, I definitely think that that was a bad move by Blaney, but I don't think Blaney's that good. Once again, another driver in a really good car that's just average. There's a lot of average guys looking really good, but it is interesting when you look at what's happening to Kyle. Won more races than the next guy. Probably lost fucking, 6 of them? I mean, how many races did Kyle Larson actually, literally lose based on self-inflicted bullshit or a tire or whatever? You know, he should have won Iowa. It was the fastest car there. Shoulda, coulda, woulda wins. You know, you could technically have Kyle Larson with 15 wins right now. But he's just that elite of a talent over everybody else. Him and Bell are just superior elitists. No matter how they try to manipulate it. Hell, I watched the deal on Tony Stewart talking about Max Verstappen versus Kyle Larson today, and he's talking about how he brought Juan Pablo into a dirt late model, and he was first time in the car ever. You know, after a session, he was third on the fast lap board list. And I'm like, dude, that was at the NASCAR Prelude to the Dream. He was third fastest in a super late model against, NASCAR drivers. That's not impressive. You're racing. That race, the Prelude to the Dream, was like the Special Olympics of dirt racing. I mean, it wasn't elite.
Who won that race?
Yeah, it wasn't
Who won that
elite
race?
talent.
Who won the race?
I don't know who won that race. Probably Jimmy Johnson or somebody who's. I think Juan Pablo's pretty good, personally. I think Juan Pablo's pretty special. Kenny Wallace. See, look, Kenny Wallace won the race. You're not racing against anybody special. So to be third quick, hell, I probably could have won the fucking race. Ask Kyle. But we did have a super chat. Knuckles Skinner. This may be is this the Mr., super chat guy? He said, Bell to Hendrick in 2026. You heard it here first. Do you think that's happening? Christopher Bell going to Hendrick? That'll never happen. Will it?
No.
Bell's under a little bit of a different leash, is he not? It's weird. It's weird.
He's a Toyota guy. He's a Toyota lifer.
Why, though? He looks like he hates life. Does it not look like Christopher Bell just looks depressed? Does anybody look like... When does Christopher Bell ever look happy? When does he ever look like he's enjoying himself?
I don't know, Chaz. That's a good point.
I mean, what is happening over there? Bell to Silva Motorsports 2026. That could save his morality.
Yeah.
Bell is pissed he can't race dirt. I think Bell, Bell or Larson, could have been considered who's the best a couple years ago, and then Larson gets to run dirt, Bell don't, and there it is. That discussion's done. Kenny Wallace says everyone will forget about these controversies by next week when we get to Phoenix. Wishful thinking. But that's Kenny that's him being the gatekeeper to the situation, is it not? He's trying to die everything down because he wants the praise. He wants the dually next week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he still wants his VIP pass, of course. Right.
Yeah, he wants to be accepted. He makes money in that acceptance.
Oh, of course.
A living.
But here's the other thing. So your guy's saying Christopher Bell 2026.
That's what he said, yes.
Oh, ask the wise guy who's vacating a seat.
What seat's going
to be available in 2026?
That is interesting. Okay, some people want to call in on the subject. Super Chatter does. Everybody wants to call in. Let's see if we can get some other calls in here. You going to watch, Clark? These people are probably going to be pretty angry.
Yeah, some of them are fucking idiots because Christopher Bell's not going to be at Hendrick in 26.
Okay.
Nobody knows who's going to be at Hendrick in 26 but me. So he can go fuck himself on that one.
Okay. Well, just make sure you do the brakes right.
Have a good one, Chaz. Talk to you later, buddy. Bye.
Bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open up the lines. This could be the biggest mistake of the night, Sean. This could be the biggest mistake of the night. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be.
There's the number. Call it up, ladies and gentlemen. 423-616-7673. The Safari traveling is on. Let's see it. We're waiting for the person to call. 423-616-7673. Oh, my. No one's calling. This is what happens every time, Sean. It's what happens every time. Everybody says they want to call. We open up the lines for people to call, and they scare away. They scare away. They are scared to death to even think of calling in. They know I know too much. Oh. Hello. Hello, are you there?
What's going on?
Can you try to talk again?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, who is I'm right here? Who is this?
Somebody pretty fucking deep into the dirt racing world. How's that?
Oh, my. Okay, Kevin Rumley.
Well, anyways, yeah. Can I say something before we get into this other bullshit?
Is it? You sound intoxicated, sir.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Hey, what you vaping on? What are you vaping on?
I don't have a vape. Do I have a vape? No, I don't have a vape.
Anyways, I like to put this analogy out there for everybody here, okay?
I'm curious. Let's hear it.
Do you remember the phantom cautions always happening?
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And Mark Martin said it wasn't a goddamn thing on that racetrack?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember one day I saw a track official pick up a piece of debris on the racetrack. Fake picked up a piece of debris.
So just like acted,
now,
drove out there, stopped,
yeah.
acted like he picked something up, got back in the truck and drove off.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Oh, God.
I'm not going to be your NASCAR simp.
Where are you located?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, well, that says it all. You're breaking up. Are you driving down the road? Did you unload the body yet or not?
No, here, let me reposition my phone.
That's what she said. Somebody's asking, is this Joe Biden?
No. Do you want to know how old that saying actually is?
As old as Carl Edwards' racing career.
No, that's from the early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't actually know that saying has been around since the early 90s. But anyways, I digress. I think that, let me put it to you this way, okay? I don't know if there's any gamers out there that play Call of Duty. When you could be free and not have this lag compensation and all this bullshit that's happening nowadays in the past 5 years. Let me put it to you this way. NASCAR is doing the same thing, but in a different way. They got all these cars evened up, right?
Yeah.
They're all even. Nobody can get ahead. Everybody's 1-to-1 kill-death ratio, except for some exceptions like Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson and
the
William Byron
supercars
and all these guys. Yeah. So I look at it like this. If you're still into NASCAR, I would suggest that you probably are a simp. You're probably for Biden.
You're a Larsonite. You're a Larsonite. It's like I say, all you fucking dirt people, the only reason you watch NASCAR is to watch Kyle Larson. That's it. You're a simp of Kyle. Or you're a simp of Bill Elliott, so you simp over Chase Elliott. Or, I don't know why somebody would simp over Ryan Blaney, but you do. I mean, you're saying they don't really watch NASCAR for the particular sport that it has. They're just a simp of a particular person that's racing.
Exactly. That's where we are today in this world. Everything's got to be social media out, it's ridiculous where everything is these days. And I can't sit down and watch a race. Now, I applaud NASCAR for this. I'll give them one thing. They actually let them cars get into the turns at Michigan. Do you remember how they were hitting like a $187 going down the whole way down that front stretch of Michigan for a few years there?
Yeah, but yeah.
Now they're letting them hit 209 again. I miss the days when I miss the days when you could see them race at, say, Charlotte.
Yeah, but
I like when they would show how fast they were entering turn one.
Well,
I like that.
I like NASCAR, the pre-COT cars. I think they call them Gen 4s or whatever. They're all yawed out. Yeah. You're sliding around the track. You're really having to drive those cars, I think. But I think the reason we've went to these cars in today's society is, they're little, young, rich kids that can't really drive fucking race cars, need cars that aren't hard to drive so that they can keep up. You don't want the cars to be so hard that little 5 billionaire kids and 10 billionaire kids can just, go out there and get out drove. You want to be able to put them in a good car that you can't really wreck or spin out, that's in this box. That way you can hinder the real good drivers and you can make them look bad in an average car. Similar to like Kyle Larson, for instance, in the Ganassi car. He was so much better than everybody on the racetrack, but because he had a shittier car, he looked average, So I think that's why they got these newer cars that are a little more tamer, not as extreme, because the rich kiddies and people they want to push due to connections, not necessarily talent, aren't worried about getting into a car that they can't drive.
I agree with you there. I absolutely agree with you there. The NASCAR found a way to make themselves their own money. Now we know that everybody's paying for their little Walmart kit car, like cowboys like to put it. And I can remember when before all this crap started happening, I knew something was about to go down because I used to watch very closely, and I used to watch Race Hub, and they had Drew Blickensderfer on the show. And Drew Blickensderfer said Kyle Busch is the best race car driver that drives powerful race cars. And then he went, overpowered race cars. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. Something's about to go down. I knew something was about to go down. And I was right. I mean, they're playing a narrative. If you can't see that NASCAR plays a narrative just like CNN or Fox News or the local news or whatever you want to call it, you're blind. You're blind. You're blind.
Well,
you're blind.
and this is why the discussion of gambling in this sport is interesting. And I think I heard recently that the WWE was going to start to allow gambling in their sport, which we all know that's scripted. But if that's the case, if they're registered as an entertainment company like all these other people are, I mean, does gambling being in NASCAR, is that okay? But I mean, with all these things happening, if it's a controlled thing, then maybe that's how a WWE can state their case as to why they should get something to bet on as well. Because look at racing and things like that.
Yeah, I was told a long time ago by a guy, he was a pretty smart guy, anything that involves millions or even billions of dollars is fixed. I mean, let's just face facts here. I think I agree with him when I look back on it, because now that everything is coming to fruition about what we see today, it's a lot more obvious. Just like Call of Duty is a lot more obvious. The things that they do to make their money for their $24 skins. It's the same thing with NASCAR. You got, Haley Deegan. That was real dumb to let her go. She's got a huge following, and now she jumped ship. She's out of here.
Oh, but she can't drive though. I mean, I do think you got to drive to a certain level, and you can only take people so far. I think Haley Deegan was the example of so far.
Well, why do you think Kenny Wallace sweats her so bad then?
What do you mean sweats her? Give me an example of what he said or did.
It's like when you.
What did he say or do about Haley Deegan? What's he say? What's his?
Well, he had her on his show, and he goes, "Well, I'm just going to say this right now. It was the car. It wasn't you. It was the car." And I don't think I can. You get all these other drivers in it. I can agree with him somewhat because nobody else did anything in that car.
I mean, why is he trying to brush off this incident right now and say he won't forget till next weekend? It's all about the money and appeasing people with money so that he can get some of it.
Yeah.
Everybody in the media, the bigger deal is like in racing media, it's just like the media on TV. Racing media is purchased and paid for by groups of people. Instead of it being big pharma, for instance, it's drivers that, well, if I'm nice to you and talk about you, you'll give me money. Or if I make you look better, even though I know you're not that good, for instance, like a Haley Deegan, I can defend you and that'll become a valuable relationship. These people don't really look at relationships as like sincere, honest, authentic relationships. They look at them as how can I make money off of this person? That's how a media person. Most of them. It's hard to not do that you end up on here like me hoping for a damn super chat to eat next week. No, I'm just playing. But, that's how the media game works. They play to the appeasement of their funders. And in the racing world, that is drivers and teams and those who want publicity most of the time. So I think that's why he was being super nice. If you want my opinion, if that happened, I don't know if all this happened, but if it did, that's usually the trend as to why somebody would gatekeep a situation, or try to make something look better than it is. It's because they've been paid, or they think they could get paid by the individual or group they're talking about.
I agree. I do. I agree with you there. I absolutely agree with you.
So that would be my answer.
As far as tonight goes, that's a complete joke. That wall ride shit should never flew in the first place.
What about the blocking?
I don't care. That's bullshit, too. If you're blocking, if it's blatant, I didn't see the replay yet. I have to look at the replay. I'll admit I didn't see that replay yet, but I watched the wall ride crap, and, I don't know. Maybe they don't think that he's flamboyant enough to represent the sport because, like you said, he doesn't look like he's very happy. He has a bland look on his face. Like he just ate a bad pickle.
He
You know?
hates it. I think he misses dirt racing. I think if I was to psychologically
Yeah.
diagnose Chris Bell, he hates dirt racing. And he used to be jealous of Kyle, from my understanding. And if he used to be, he's definitely now. After everything Kyle's got to get, and he can't even have, so. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I just think he's sad and depressed due to the leash. But they make that trade all the time. That leash is in exchange for money. So, I mean, if you want to take the money and put the leash on, no one said you'd be happy. You'll be rich. You'll be financially stable, but that doesn't mean you'll be happy.
Right. I've had my opportunities in life to drive. I gave up on it. I saw what was going down. I'm 48, so I was kind of like, I've been around since.
Wait, you're Danny Dietrich? Hold on. You're 48?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I just, I've seen my opportunities come and go, and I wouldn't mind getting into a vintage modified, but that's neither here nor there. But
the best looking cars on the block, man, those vintage modifieds.
Yeah. I got an old 429 Thunderjet sitting around that I've had for a lot of years that I was going to, back in the 90s, I was going to actually have it built and race an actual, newer modified from
So
them,
you're
like
from
98.
Western PA with that statement, I would think.
Yeah, Lernerville, the Challenger Raceway. I used to go there all the time, but they didn't run big block mods. But actually, as a matter of fact, if anybody would like to know, I have my own cleaning business, and you wouldn't believe who I actually clean for. His name is
Blaney's.
Blackie Watt.
Okay.
And can I plug a Facebook group?
Sure, I guess. I need a beer, Sean. Can you get me a beer? I need a beer if we're plugging Facebook groups.
If anybody out there is from Pennsylvania and they want to see old photos or photos from the 90s or photos from present day, Blanket Hill Raceway, it's a little track up in Katanning, Pennsylvania. We have a group, and I'm an admin, and it's called Decades of Dirt Racing.
Okay.
And the things that I have learned over the past, I don't know, geez, I've been there for about 4 months. I understand a lot more behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like, you kind of know too much, if that makes sense.
Right.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
you're liable. If you speak up, you could get killed or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like, hey, if you say a certain thing, you better lose my phone number, stuff like that.
Right. Relationships, right.
Yeah. Yep.
Like last night, I had a caller call in talking about what girls or who's got nudes out here there. I'm probably sued come next week because of telling the truth. I shouldn't have told you all that, but I told the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Tell the truth. If you don't tell the truth, I agree with you when you said the other week. I forget what it was. You said they hung their hat on Dale Earnhardt and he died, and now you're stuck with what you got.
Right. Yeah.
And how you come out of this, I don't think they'll ever pull numbers like they did, and I think that it's just going to slowly dwindle away, just like.
Oh, their business
much
model don't
everything.
allow them to acquire actual people. They're unrelatable.
Yeah. Right.
They have a
Yeah,
bunch of
the
privileged people who are millionaires from birth, basically.
Yeah.
Regular people can't relate to them.
What's that?
Regular people can't relate to them.
No. Yeah, I don't have $1 million laying around to go, do whatever. Well, it takes more than $1 million, but I don't have a daddy that gives me $20 million to go and secure some sponsorship and go and go cup racing.
Well, and that's why dirt racing
will.
is superior in talent and character. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought the first year of Lucas Oil Late Models was a sham. This year, I don't know. I really don't care. I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like the flow.
Is there anything you like big boobs or something?
Oh yeah.
That's it.
I like ass.
For ends, begins and ends, huh?
I like booty better, but I don't really care about it. I don't care about this.
So you're really into Lizzo.
No.
Hey, if I keep having too many beers, you never know. I'm just saying. But no, is there anything else you want to say? Well, I know there's some other people kind of wanting to talk. I guess we have one.
Yeah, go ahead. Let them in, man. Thanks for letting me plug that group. I hope we see some new people in there.
Okay.
Thanks, Chaz.
Thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
All right, we did have a missed call. I don't know if I should call it back. Should I call it back? Could I call and be like, "Hey, you want chicken fried rice tonight? Chicken fried rice? You call?" I could do kind of a good Asian accent. It could be Larson. Larson could be calling in. Number is on the screen: 423-616-7673. Number is on the screen. It was a good call. I thought that was a great call. I hope he calls back in the future. We need to hear more. Oh God, what did this YouTube commenter say? I liked him, but I wanted to hear about his PA wife troubles. Did Spike start another account? I banned the martini one. I banned that martini. Fuck him. So he said that he admires Deegan. Kenny Wallace admires Deegan. There's a difference. I honestly think that Haley Deegan is probably just as good as a driver as Kenny Wallace. So I get that he could admire her for her ability. But if he's probably just basing that judgment on his, and he don't really have a lot. Let's see here. Kenny Wallace is a simp. Y'all are horrible. Kenny Wallace is promoting new asphalt talent now, Chaz. I'm sure he's doing it for free. That's fine. I was thinking about promoting new dirt talent, and I would monetize it, but I would be a little more selective. You know, I would have to think you're actually good for me to say it. No callers. I guess we could call 214 back and see what happens. Could be like an old ex-girlfriend saying, "We got you," or something. Hello.
Hello.
Did you say owl or owl? Like spiders and owls?
Hello. Like hello.
Who in the hell is this?
Hello. Hello. The one and only Tom Lovin.
Oh, no. Tom Levin. What did you want to say on the subject? I saw we missed your call.
NASCAR sucks.
Okay, Tom.
What did you want to say on the subject?
I agree.
I thought we missed your call.
Thanks for calling in, Tom. I feel mean when I hang up on him. All right, Tom was a little behind. I would love to move to the next caller. Numbers on the screen, guys. You do understand the next caller has to call, right? Like, I can't, just summons a call. We need to have another caller. Somebody has to call the number on the screen. 423-616-7673. Yes, 423, Mooresburg, Tennessee, home of the late, great Scott Bloomquist, who is potentially still alive. I don't know if we solved that mystery, Sean. Is he still alive? He is on an island somewhere, I bet. I guess that's it. We could end it there. Nobody's calling. Yeah, just end it there, Sean. We said what we need to say.
Yeah, nobody's wanting to call.
Yeah, nobody's wanting to call. I'm going to go finish this beer and try to not drinking live anymore. You know, we drinking live last night. We may be paying the price, Sean. Sean was like, "Do you know what you were saying?" I was like, "Oh, whoa, I didn't know I said that. What?" Call the cartel. Broke Joe won't answer. If he does, we'll be here for 5 hours. All right. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I think we are going to call it. Where's the caller from last night? I don't know. He owes me $20. He said he would cover my bet. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. That's what I think. That's my opinions. Thank you to the callers that called in. Was interesting discussion. I kind of actually, Clark changed my mind on that. Did he change your mind at all, Sean, on that? You know, if it was Talladega or Daytona, would you really be mad? Because cars working together to block or to draft or whatever, they do it all the time. And just because it happened on Martinsville, you know, does that really make it a difference? I mean, I don't know. That changed my opinion on it, really. If Jason wants to call, the line is still open, but he hasn't called. So anyway,
I don't know.
I mean, it's still bullshit. So you still think everybody involved should be DQ'd and Larson should get in? I still personally think that, but
Well, of course. I mean, I'm a Larson fan, true and true.
okay. Oh my God. So our caller was right. It's a bunch of simps watching NASCAR. He was right. Jeez. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for calling. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for once, please, you assholes. Oh no, somebody did just call. Do we answer it?
Yeah, you got to answer it.
Hello?
Hello,
Who is this?
this is Jason.
Oh shit. What does Jason want to say?
How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing okay.
Doing good.
So y'all think NASCAR is a bunch of crap? I do too. That was some crap call today.
That was insane.
Yes, that was not a good call. That was not a watermelon send.
It was a soap opera.
It was.
It was. Our commenter right there just said it. It was a soap opera. Is
It
that
was
all you wanted to
not
say?
something-
Is that? Oh, did you just want to call to keep the show going? Is that what's going on here?
No, I'm calling from Oklahoma to represent too. So
What
everybody have a great night.
are you? So you're from Oklahoma. Are you mad that Christopher Bell's not in the Final Four? Are you a Bell fan? Or
I'm a big Bell fan. Yes.
okay. Why does he look sad all the time? What's the deal?
Just the way he is, man. I don't know. He's to himself, what I get.
Okay. He's probably just not happy.
Y'all- Go ahead.
He's probably just not happy with life.
He might not be, but then again, he could be.
Yeah, he needs to get in a sprint car. Sprint cars will save him. You know.
Well, tell Joe Gibbs to let him in a sprint car.
Well, and I said this about racing and money. Oh, they do it for the money. You know, to me, some of these guys who love dirt, like Christopher Bell, they are when they do go to NASCAR. It's kind of like this. Like NASCAR, these drivers are like women, right? And the sprint car is like the construction worker who actually loves them, and she loves him. And then this NASCAR deal is kind of like
car, even come back to the Chili Bowl.
And well, yeah, this NASCAR thing is kind of like the old man with a bunch of money. She really doesn't love him, but he has all this money. If she goes with him, she'll have like the big house, the big cars, the financial security, the money. But it's not what they really love. But so they're taking that option and feeling the repercussions. Larson's in a scenario where the old man's like, "Oh, just go be a hoe. I don't care." You know, so he's able to hook up with the construction worker, whatever he wants. I guess everybody's happy in that weird situation, but that's what I think.
Anybody but Larson.
Bell's I think experiencing the long-term mental issues of choosing the old man with the money.
I still say ABL.
What does that mean?
Anybody but Larson.
Oh my God. Anyway. All right.
But,
well, thanks for calling
I appreciate you guys. Yep. Y'all have a good night.
All righty. Bye. That was Jason. Good point there. Maybe Bell should buy Red Dirt Raceway. That would be a good one. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, now we are getting off because that is exactly why we're getting off. Another caller that I was hoping he had something to say. I guess he did, but he didn't. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Like the video. As always, be sure to subscribe. Links in the description to join the support if you did not super chat. And we will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.